Welcome to Mine Explorers episode 34, where we are in Austin, Texas.
That's right. We're here for AggNexus, and we're going to learn all about construction aggregate and the technologies to make the industry better.
Yes, we're here at the University of Texas at Austin at the Joe Thompson Conference Center, where we had AggNexus last year. And this is the second year of the show, and it's all about, as Crystal said, technology and aggregates. So we have cutting edge technology providers from around the world have gathered here to discuss aggregate technologies, from autonomous haul trucks to scale house and workflow, plant management, all the way through to maintenance, and of course market analysis
implementation.
And AI implementation. I'll be hosting a panel on that tomorrow, and Crystal is having a panel on
leadership and recruitment,
which is right up her alley.
That's right. We love our team. We would like to keep them around.
Yeah, so we're out here in the hot sun. We're going to go inside here in a bit, and we're going to find a couple of people to interview that have different perspectives on the industry, and I think this will be a packed episode. We're going to have a lot of info in here.
Should be a good one.
So if you're in the aggregate industry, or you want to be, this is a great one to watch. And if you're not, I think you're going to learn a lot about all the building blocks of our civilization.
That's right. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm here with Lisa Swint from Garden Ridge, Texas. You are the mayor. How exciting. We've never had a mayor on the show. I feel so privileged.
Well, I'm happy to be the first.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about your town and what it's like being a mayor of a town in Texas.
So the city of Garden Ridge is it's really a small hill country town between San Antonio and New Braunfels. If you live in Texas, the easiest way to describe where it is ask somebody if they've ever been to the Natural Bridge Caverns. And that everybody kind of knows that's a big tourist site. And to get to the caverns, you drive right through Garden Ridge.
Very good.
So we're a city about 5,000 people, kind of a little bedroom community. Mm-hmm. Mostly residential. We don't have a lot of commercial businesses, but you know, it's quiet. It's you know, off of the freeway, so it's a unique little spot.
That's lovely. It sounds like a wonderful
we
little
have deer
community.
and coyote and foxes and porcupines and
you're just far enough away from the big city.
We're far enough away, but easy access to both San Antonio and New Braunfels and Austin. So it's a great spot.
Wonderful. So what brings you to a aggregate show?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I asked myself that too. You know, we have a quarry within our city limits and several other aggregate operations outside our city limits, probably 10 to 12. We've got a lot of quarries, concrete batch plants, asphalt plants. Wow. And, you know, I always tell people in this industry that, you know what, I don't speak your language, right?
Right.
You don't speak my language, you know, when it comes to municipal stuff, right? It's not an industry that is readily understood, right? So I'm here to learn more. You know, I have a friend, Jill Shackelford, who suggested that I attend, and you know, told me it was about some, you know, digital innovations. It's kind of
right. More on the technology side.
Yeah, more on the technology
aggregates.
side. What was coming in the future?
Mm-hmm.
I just said, you know, there might be something that might be helpful.
That's awesome.
You know,
yeah, but I mean, good for you for learning more about, you know, your local community and then taking advantage of shows that are near you. That's
absolutely,
that's wonderful.
Absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
So in your town, what are you seeing so you have these quarries nearby. You probably are seeing like a lot of trucks on the road. Are there other residents have some animosity against these companies?
There is. We do, like I said, we have a quarry within our city limits, so we are able to regulate that quarry a little bit according to our municipal ordinances and state law. But the quarry's been there since the 30s.
Right.
Right? And there are lots of things that predate the quarry. We've got a historic church that's right next to it. And, you know, again, like most places in Texas, it was ranch and farmland before it was developed. But the quarry has grown as the city has grown. And, you know, sort of the impacts of that have been hard for our citizens. You know, increased dust, increased truck traffic. We have some blasting issues. You know, some of our residents can literally wave at the quarry workers, you know, from their backyards.
Wow.
And we have a really, really large veteran population. And one of the things that I had never even occurred to me until they spoke out about it was the issues with PTSD.
Oh.
You know, and the blast. I'm like, well, yeah, well, that makes perfect sense.
Interesting.
You know, so we're really trying to work with our local quarry. We've formed an advisory council to see if we can't come up with some, you know, voluntary shared best practices that would lessen the impacts on the city.
Right, right. And how does zoning play a role into that?
You know, it's Texas is strange. We have some regulatory authority within our city limits, and then you go to ETJ, and nobody has any zoning authority in ETJ, not the city, not the county. So, you know, we're able to set hours for the quarry and noise parameters for the quarry.
Okay.
They can't operate on the weekends and certain holidays, you know, but beyond our city limits, ETJ, they could work around the clock, you know, 24 hours a day. That wouldn't be wise, but they could, right?
Right.
So, you know, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Right, because I mean, downtime is lost revenue.
Right.
For a lot of these operations.
For sure.
So
For sure.
it's a lot of efficiency for running night and day. But again, if the community has moved into your neighborhood, I mean, you kind of have to play nice.
Well, it's a little bit of both. They
Right.
moved into our community as well.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
They started out as a really small quarry.
Yeah.
You know, and they've just progressively through the years bought up
Right.
land. They're
Well-
about a 3,000 acre quarry, and they're expanding by another 1,500 acres.
That's a good size.
It's a good
size
operation. I mean, our
footprint.
city itself is only 5,000 acres.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
So we have to find a way to live together.
Indeed, you do. Right.
Yes.
And that's half of your city is a quarry.
It's a lot.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah. Huh.
But the additional 1,000 acres is going to be outside our city limits, but
Right.
you know, it's a concern as well. I mean, we don't live on an island, so
Right.
you know what happens around us impacts us.
Right. Well, and then with all the building too, it's kind of that double-edged sword, right? Because you want your
Right.
materials, and it's always nicer when they're nearby because it reduces, you know, the cost of it and, you know, emissions from that. But at the same time, you don't want to live in a dusty, noisy area.
Right. But the Hill Country area, and in particular our county, Comal County, is one of the fastest growing counties in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
So certainly the need is there. The road construction's happening. You know,
Right.
it's a very needed industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You can't build anything without some
No.
type of raw material, and
Right.
oftentimes it's where you don't want it.
I should note that I only speak for myself as the mayor. I don't represent the rest of the city.
Right.
These are my own opinions. I always got to throw that out there.
Yes, of course.
Yes. I should have said that at the start. But you know, what we're really looking for is a balance. You know.
And what does the balance look like for you?
For us, it looks like, again, kind of minimal impacts, right? We're not getting complaints about dust all the time. The blasts feel minimal. You know, we are working with, we've hired a new monitoring company, and again, this is voluntary with the quarry that we're working with. And they will put out, we've had monitors out there for years, and the deal we've struck is we pay the monitoring company, and we are reimbursed by the quarry. So, you know, it's a good relationship in that sense, in that we want to work together and we want to be able to provide the citizens with, you know, concrete facts and data. You know, I mean, a blast on a chart feels a lot different than a blast, you know, in a house that's close to a quarry.
Yes, indeed.
You know? And like I said, we don't speak the same languages. So, you know, we've hired a quarry consultant. we're working with this advisory council and, you know, really strengthening our relationship with the quarry so we can find some solutions.
Good, good.
You
And is
know?
that working at the moment?
You know, so far,
Yeah.
we just hired a new monitoring company to replace the one that's has been working there for years and years. And along with that, we are actually adding, it'll be 9 monitors and an air particulate matter monitor as well as operational noise monitor.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, the consultant we're working with made some suggestions after, you know, a really tremendous blast. You know, again, well within the guidelines, but you know, we had reports of things falling off walls and, you know, houses swaying, those kinds of things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she was able to make some suggestions about, you know, about the actual blasting itself. And the next blast was longer, but not as severe. So I mean, we're working on all of those things.
Right. I mean, there's so many different aspects.
There are,
of it.
and we're at a point where working with the consultant and having this advisory council, you know, we're able to kind of look at the blasts on a case-by-case basis.
Wow.
You know, and you know, with the new monitoring service, we'll have information that we can, you know, provide our citizens and educate our citizens with.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And do the citizens feel like you're making good efforts to?
I feel like we're making good efforts. It's
Okay.
been a relationship that's been up and down for
Definitely.
for years, right? Up and down, back and forth. You know, somewhat
Yeah.
dependent on what the temperature of the city is, or the temperature of the city council, or where they're blasting. You know, at the quarry.
Yeah.
You
For
know, so
sure.
the relationship has kind of been all over the place, but I think we're headed in a good direction.
Good. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so important. I mean, you have to find ways to work together.
We do. We
Yeah.
do.
And the fact that you're coming out here to learn about more aggregate and aggregate technology, that speaks very highly of, you know, how you care about the relationship. So I think
Well, I
that's
care
great.
about my community.
Yeah,
So
which
the more I learn, the better I can, you know, help the community.
That's a great aspect in a mayor.
And, well,
So
thank you.
good on them
it's
for voting
fun.
you in.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that got me thinking, like, it would be so interesting to have a panel of just community members who live near quarries or something to get some of their feedback on, like, what are their real concerns, and so start opening up that dialogue. Because it's like, you know, we have all of these conferences on, it feels like there's a conference on mining about once a month.
Right.
It's insane. But
Right.
I think if we really want to make a bigger impact and a longer lasting impact, we really do need to start inviting some members of the community into some of those discussions, so we can be like, okay, if, you know, you might have an issue with us, but where's the middle ground? Because we both rely on these materials, not just as a business
Right.
aspect, but as, you know, building communities and, you know, shopping centers and all the things that we enjoy in just everyday life.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think that actually would be very helpful.
Yeah, it could be terrifying too.
It could be terrifying for both parts.
Might have
I
to have a
know,
really good
right?
moderator.
No, you would absolutely have to. I mean, a lot of our citizens are very upset.
Yeah, they can get a little feisty.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
can get a little feisty sometimes.
sure.
I mean, my job is to protect the city and protect
Yes.
the interests of the city, and you know, to make sure that our citizens are, you know, are well cared for and are living the life that they want to. But there is a balance there, you know. I mean, and we've got to just keep working at it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. How long have you been mayor for?
I've just been mayor since May. I
Oh,
was on
wow.
city
Nice.
council for 6 years, so it's
Okay.
not new to me.
Not
and
new
I
to
took a
you.
great interest in this a couple of years ago when I was a council member.
Okay.
You know, trying to get this.
Is that kind of what drove you into becoming the mayor? Of like, you're just seeing things, you're like, I think I could do this a little bit better.
Well, in some ways, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, there's some movement I would like to see in the city in a more productive direction. You know, I think we've maintained the status quo with the quarry and the other industry around us, and that hasn't been great for our cities, and really hasn't been great for them.
Right.
You know, they have to field the complaints and the TCQ, you know, violations or reports or whatnot. So, I mean, we really, and you know, I'm looking for sustainable change. You know, we've had lots of years where things have been better, but then it reverts back. you know.
Yeah,
And
long-term
it's such a
thinking.
beautiful area. It's such a beautiful area, the hill country, you know. So, I mean, and that's an important part of living there for our citizens.
Right, to get out in the
Yeah.
local environment.
Yeah. So they want to be able to have an unspoiled environment, you know, and to enjoy their backyards and their daily lives, and not dodge trucks and, you know, all of the things that comes along with living
Right.
near heavy industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the trucks are a real issue for us. We have 30 to 35,000 trucks a month go through our city center.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a main intersection, and we've had our police, you know, do their, you know, their digital electronic truck counts. I don't remember what the monitor thing is called, but
Wow, that is a lot of truck traffic.
it's a lot of truck traffic.
Wow.
I mean,
Is that how they're moving the material out? Is all by truck?
there is train, there is
Okay.
rail, there is rail, but I mean, we've probably got in addition to the one that's in our city limits, there's probably a dozen other operators out there. Big quarries.
Right, moving
Yeah.
lots of material all
Lots
over.
of material. Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah. So that's one of the things we're working on as well. You know, the roads near the quarry have been damaged, and you know, our citizens don't want to pay for that kind of thing. So again,
Right.
we're working with the industry that has the materials, you know, to try to find a solution there where they can help us repair those roads, so
Right.
they are up to par for both their trucks and our citizens.
Right, yeah, road maintenance is the whole thing.
It is. It
Yes.
is a whole thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, you can't- yeah, those trucks do take a beating on those roads.
They
you
do,
know, They
absolutely.
just tear it up and you
Yeah,
gotta-
absolutely.
Is it mostly dirt roads out there, or is it?
No,
Okay.
the road that the quarry is on is concrete,
Okay.
but I can't tell you the last time it's been
Right. It's probably seen better
repaired
days.
or, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while. And I mean, again, part of the issue is, you know, how many millions of taxpayer money do we want to spend out there
Right.
to repair this road?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we definitely want some help with that.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And as a, you know, Texas, we don't have, in this situation, we can't have any road impact fees or anything, you know, so it's different state by state.
Yeah.
It really is. All of those kinds of things are different state by state,
Okay.
you know, so we've got to find a way to work with the concrete patch plant and the asphalt plant and the quarry that are right there using the roads,
Yes.
you know, to help with the materials and get that. Yeah, it's,
Huh.
you know,
Some type of tax break in there, maybe.
You know,
I don't know. If you have all the materials here, let's just.
right. There
Figure
has to
out-
be some way that is,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
sure
as a
they would appreciate
collective
better roads too.
that we can do that.
Yes.
You know.
Right. Huh. Well, very good. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Gosh, I don't know. We're certainly working on the industry in Texas. You know, it's the only state that doesn't require reclamation plans for
Really?
quarries. The only state. The only one.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a different industry in Texas.
Indeed so.
It is.
Yeah,
It
because we've
is.
seen reclaimed mines before of quarries, and they're gorgeous. Like
Right.
there's some beautiful things that you can do, and that it just turns into a lovely, you know, place for the community to go and recreate. And so not having that.
No, we don't. We do have developers that will buy old quarries
Sure.
and, build development or shopping centers, but it's not a requirement. Quarries can
Interesting.
just walk away from the land.
Okay. Well, I can see why some people are frustrated with that then. That
And
would-
yeah.
Yeah, you
it
don't want to
is.
see. I mean, that's something that we deal with. Is just the mining history past has been very dirty, and it's something that we've, especially in the hard rock space, right, of just people doing just that, right? They have a mine, they take the ore out, and then they just walk away and
Right.
leave it. And it's like that has been an issue for a long time. So the industry is kind of doing their best to
Right.
reclaim all those areas and make sure that it's now environmentally safe, and you can reuse the land for different
Right,
uses now.
right.
And changing that public perception that mine
That
is
is so
not
important.
so dirty and dangerous, and we're not just going to leave it. So that is kind of concerning that Texas
Yeah.
doesn't have that
I
same
know,
type
we're a little
of.
behind on those kinds of things,
Yeah,
and
that
it does
is-
not help the industry.
I had
and it
no
doesn't help the
idea.
relationships.
Yeah. Huh. There's an environmental firm I want to have a chat with and be like, what's your perspective on that? Because that is interesting.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I would, and there's lots of ways to make that manageable, for quarries.
For
where
sure.
It's not burdensome.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just not something we do in Texas.
Huh. Okay. So with
Yeah,
that
it's a little
being
bit in the Wild
said-
West, a little bit still.
Yeah. Well.
Right?
Yes, it is its own land a little.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is.
So how does it, just generally speaking, how does the average Texan feel about these rock quarries around?
Well, it depends on where you are.
It depends on
right?
where you are,
It depends a lot on where you are.
Because there's a lot of quarries out
There
here.
are. And in the hill country, frankly, they're viewed pretty negatively.
Sure.
And part of that is due to the inability to regulate some of the aspects of quarries. Most of them you'll find they're in the county or a city ETJ where you can't apply some really common sense, parameters. And that causes problems. And also, the other big thing in the hill country is it's beautiful land. The expansion that our local quarry is doing was old ranch land. Right? It was owned by some sisters who kept it in the family and then were unable to, continue to pay the taxes or, wanted to cash out. And it was the same piece of land that was being looked to be conserved. It was the group was looking to conserve that piece of land too.
Right.
So and I think there needs to be maybe a little more sensitivity about where the quarries are.
Yeah.
A little more, again, balance there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know if you could put a quarry where you wanted it, that would be amazing. But
Right. I know.
it's like we say
I
in
know,
the
you
metal
could have
spaces.
I know, right? We've got rock all
Gold is
around
where you
us.
find it, not where it ought to
right.
be.
Right. What I've often said too, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Just get a little further away.
Right.
So we can't see you or we can't hear you or, just a little bit further away. I know it's, you're going
It's
to
always hard
reduce
when
your
you get-
revenue, but
yeah.
you're also going to make citizens a lot happier and your life will be a little
Right.
easier in that aspect.
That is going to take some lengthy conversations.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
It was interesting to hear how slow to change this industry is.
You see that in a lot of big industries.
Right.
Right. We're doing our best, getting on board with the new technologies coming, but there is still a long ways to go to really service the community in a very healthy way. But it's, it is a balance, just
Yes. Yeah.
put up those zoning borders around the quarry, say, okay, we're here, we were here first, but you're not coming close. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know either,
just
but it
starting
would-
the discussions, I think,
Right,
is obviously
right.
the first part, because you can't
Right.
just make up rules without input from either side.
Right, for sure.
So,
for sure.
we all benefit
and,
from it.
in Texas is a property rights state, big time. You can do whatever you want with your property.
Right.
And again, but there's a balance there. What you do on your property shouldn't
Affect someone else's. Yes.
impede the enjoyment of somebody else's property.
Yes.
So, it's a tricky situation.
It is. It is indeed.
Very tricky.
Yeah, but good for you for taking it head on and just educating yourself more about the industry that affects your local
I've learned so much
constituents.
over the last couple of years that I never thought I would
Good.
that I would know or want to know.
That's
so
lovely.
it's been a definite learning experience.
Yeah, well, you won't be bored in this industry.
No.
There's always something to learn or
Yeah, for sure.
new challenge to face.
Yes, that's same with government. There's new laws
my
every
gosh.
couple of years, and
Yeah.
those have to be implemented.
I think
and-
anyone who willingly goes into government's like, bless you, good on you for wanting
right.
to do
But
that.
I
That
think
is-
it's fun and interesting.
Good.
It's a new challenge every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot
Absolutely.
of problems to solve. So that's
Yes,
Right.
that is our mission. We solve the challenges of mining. You can probably say the same for.
same. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you. It was wonderful to
thing.
chat with you, and I
Great.
hope you get more out of the show for the rest of the day. And I'm excited to see where you can take your community and see the harmony that you can build with the local quarries and your.
Thank you. I'm
your
excited
citizens.
too. And I really do think there needs to be more participation
Yes.
and more interaction because I know it can be really hostile.
For sure.
But a lot of that is just due to misunderstanding.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, and that's why I'm trying to learn the language and trying to educate our people and
Yeah,
and
I
try
think
to
that's
make
so wonderful.
Yeah, try to find a good balance for
Good.
all of us.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Cole Bland from Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
is
Welcome
where
to
we're at.
Austin.
Yeah.
Welcome to Austin.
Yeah. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the invite. You guys
Yeah,
invited
of course.
me.
We did. Excellent.
Yeah.
And we thank Bill for that.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, you got me.
He's on it. Yeah.
Good. And he got my VP of Sales and Marketing.
Fantastic.
So you got
Good.
two of us.
It makes sense. You're right here.
Yeah.
So tell us about your company and how you got into aggregates.
Yeah. Our company's called Central Texas Stone and Aggregate. We do what our name is. We mine limestone. We started with 2 limestone quarries in Georgetown, about 45 minutes north Austin. And then the end of 2023, we added a 3rd location, a granite quarry in Marble Falls, which is about an hour west of Austin. So we make your standard kind of construction aggregates, all the stuff for TxDOT and the different municipalities around here. At our granite quarry, we make armor stone and riprap for like shoreline erosion and just kind of environmental uses.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, riprap's always good. How about manufactured sand? Do you make any of that?
Yeah, we have one of our quarries right now is a wash plant, and we have manufactured sand and washing it. And this market up here in Austin will use like a percentage of the sand for ready mix will be manufactured. They prefer a natural sand for like finishability and workability and all that kind of stuff. But we've got a decent little market for it. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, a lot of markets I'm working in now. Most of them are pretty well supplied in stone, but I'm noticing natural sand is depleting a lot of places.
Yeah. Yeah. The natural sand reserves in Austin are some of like the highest priced real estate in the area.
Really?
It's where like Tesla's got all their property.
Wow.
And then Elon Musk owns a lot more in the area, and then Tito Beverage owns a lot more, a lot out there, and there's just all kinds of growth around that section of the Colorado
right where
River.
the sand is.
Yeah, the sand and gravel guys that are there are in a great spot, and,
Yeah.
and people like me who would love to be there, there's like no chance. So.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So aside from that, what are some of the challenges you see in this market right now?
So challenges that I'm experiencing really are not so much on kind of my side of the business. It's really on the kind of general economics of the area. The real estate's really expensive,
Right.
so it makes it hard to put any kind of residential or housing product on the ground that's affordable.
Right.
With interest rates and things like that, affordability is key right now, and so you're seeing a lot of kind of funding issues and just a lot of deals that at one time would have papered up really good. They're just not feasible right now, and so our private side has really kind of dipped a little bit this year, but the public side is growing, and Texas has a lot of road work to do, especially in around Austin. Austin's been growing at a really rapid pace, and the infrastructure's needed a lot of investment and growth and to keep up. So that's keeping us plenty busy. But yeah, I'd say just kind of the general economics of this area, being as it's popular and it's growing, and it kind of had a little boom during COVID and all that. We're still kind of getting back to a little bit of a normalcy when it comes to real estate, investing, and development, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, the quarter point cut yesterday from the Fed should help with that, bringing that private side back up a little bit. It's probably not enough to really ramp it up and it's not going to boom again, but I think we're starting to head back in the right direction there. And as Pierre Villeray talked about yesterday, that's the only soft part in our industry right now is
it should help with
the residential.
It should help with consumer sentiment, and that typically does some good things for the private side developments and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So have you worked in aggregates your whole life, or how did you get into it?
No, so I'm originally a construction kid.
Okay.
My grandpa and his brother started a construction company here in Austin in the 50s.
Very cool, yeah.
My dad has been second generation, and then I grew up kind of with the dream of being the third generation. We ended up taking over a quarry lease in 2007, our original kind of like our largest quarry by volume right now. And it's the one up in Georgetown, and we took that over to kind of supply our own construction business. I didn't even really know that we had a quarry until sometime in like 2015 or 2016. Well, no, 2012 is when I started to kind of go out to the ranch, is what I called it. Didn't really spend much time in the quarry, didn't really know much about it, was really focused on the construction side. I worked there in the summers, I worked on the job sites and that kind of stuff. And so when I was in school, I started asking questions about the quarry because I was just learning a little bit more about construction and civil construction and that kind of stuff. And that's when it kind of piqued my interest. And so when I got out of school in 2016, I came to work and worked in estimating, and then as a project manager, and ran a couple jobs, was always interested in the quarry. And just so happened that the guy that was running the quarry was about to retire, and I looked at the financials and the things that, as a business owner or future business owner, things that are important that you need to start understanding and learning and growing in. And the quarry business is a completely different business than construction. It's in my opinion, it's a better business. Just on paper, on financials, I'm not dogging on anyone that loves construction or anything like that.
It's a little more stable for sure.
Yeah,
and the cycles are shorter, and you're not, you don't have to go chase that next big contract.
Right.
The business comes to you if you keep supplying product in a market that's good.
What I love about it the most is just the general principles of supply and demand.
Yeah.
The demand for it is high. Every contractor that's building a road or subdivision or a parking lot or pouring concrete slabs or whatever it may be, they're all using rock.
Yeah.
And then the supply of it, it's hard. Even in Texas, which is a generally favorable business climate, and it's a little bit easier to put a quarry together in Texas than other places around the country. You guys know that because you probably looked at a bunch of them and have helped with a bunch of those projects.
Yeah, it's 5 to 10 times easier than some areas.
So it's easier, but it's still a challenge.
It is still a challenge.
There's economic challenges, there's environmental challenges, there's market challenges. So the supply and demand is what drew me to the business, and we've seen that kind of play out in a positive way, where there's this growing city and metro here in Central Texas, and then not that many quarries. And especially with land values being higher, it's going to be harder to put quarries together. So.
Yeah, like you were talking about, there's the economics, and as urban areas grow out further and further, it encroaches on the quarries, surrounds the quarries, and it makes it harder and harder to start new ones. They get pushed out further, which makes everything more expensive and difficult logistically, especially on the contractors that are buying aggregates and the ready mix companies that have to get the material from further. It just increases all the opportunities for delays, so it becomes more challenging. When you got into the aggregate business, what were things that you made a commitment to do differently from what you'd seen done before?
Yeah, so the whole reason why my dad got into the aggregates business is really kind of the foundational principles of why we are still in business and what we're committed to. I gotta be honest, like I came into a really strong foundation, both on our construction side and our aggregate side was really small, but the market up on that side of Austin was kind of small at the time.
Right.
Now it's been one of the fastest growing counties in the state for like 10 years in a row. So it's a different story now, but we had a strong foundation and we had strong values and principles that we were going to live and work by, and you know, how we were going to treat our employees, how we expect them to, you know, work and treat our customers and that kind of thing. But to answer your question, really this market needed a supplier that could commit to whatever the customer needed, really, is just the easy way to put it. So like if you're building a large TxDOT road and you have to get multiple base stockpiles approved by TxDOT, they got to come, sample the material, and then send it off to their lab, and it might take a month for them to get the results, and then they approve the stockpile, and then your contractor needs that material because it's approved for their job, and it's not like they're getting multiple different sources approved.
Right.
And so if us as the supplier take that stockpile and say to you, our customer, and say, okay, here's your, you know, approved pile, and you start relying on us, but then we're going to 5 other customers and giving them that same pile, and then next thing you know, you've taken a break on your job and you're coming back for more material and the pile's gone. Now your project's delayed, your crews don't have anything to do. It's a huge impact on your job. And so our real commitment is like, we're gonna do what our customers need. We're gonna kind of change the script on the aggregates business. We're gonna build piles for them. We're gonna honor commitments for their jobs, for the quantities, for their timing. I mean, we send out regular automated emails to get updates on schedule to make sure we're tracking everyone's production or everyone's needs, demand for their jobs, so that we're making sure our production matches, so that we're not in over our skis in the future where we're bidding stuff that we can't actually deliver on. And so really it's just like putting the customer's needs first and shaping our production, our business around what they need, not necessarily what we need or what's easier for us, and kind of first come, first serve, or take it or leave it kind of deal, that kind of stuff.
Are you saying that customer first mentality and really taking care of the customers, that they will buy your product over competitors even if it has to go a little bit further? Yeah,
I mean, yes, because there's value in reliability.
Absolutely.
There's value in being able to trust that their project's not going to be delayed, or that they're not going to have spec issues, or if they want to ramp up, let's say they get rained out. We're about to go into kind of our rainy season where it might rain a little more frequently than other times of the year. And so if they get rained out for the month of November or December, and they come back in the start of next year and they want to get caught up on their job, if they're working with a supplier that can't really keep up in general, I mean, they're not going to be able to ramp up and do more.
Right.
And so, yeah, we're just trying to be cognizant of what they need and where they're trying to grow, and make sure that we're growing alongside them. And I think, yeah, that along with a good relationship and doing anything we can do to help them, and has established a strong tie. And yeah, we've seen some jobs come our way that we're not the cheapest.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's good to hear firsthand, because a question that I get asked when I'm looking at markets is, when a customer is looking to buy aggregate, do they just go with the closest quarry? And it's like, generally yes, but not always, because there are other factors. And so your answer was a great highlight of what some of those other factors are, because reliability, we work with Granite Construction, and they're big in the West. They're kind of all over the country, but they're really big in the Western US. And we were trying to quantify the other day, talking to Granite about all the hidden costs and delays. So not having a nearby reliable source of aggregate, what that actually costs in the end. And we were trying to quantify an economic number for how much it costs, how much NIMBY costs, really, like not allowing a quarry in an area, and what the overall costs are. And those delays can be exponentially more expensive than anything else, because you have trucks that are sitting and crews that are waiting, and all those other issues. And so yeah, it's a real value versus just going with the cheaper suppliers sometimes.
Yeah, we're seeing it even on how projects are awarded. I mean, it used to be, especially with TxDOT, that job was awarded on low bid.
Right.
And while TxDOT hasn't changed, actually on some of their jobs, some of the larger, more complex ones, they do a best value bid where it's like a, I forget the technical term, but basically there's multiple different categories that they're gonna score you in, and then they're gonna combine all that and give you the best value. So basically you might be the lowest price, but you don't have the history of performing the work,
right.
or your schedule is longer or something like that. And so you might, even though you're the lowest price, you might not get the job because someone was better. And so that's kind of how we feel. It's like the market's evaluating the suppliers and the contractors, everyone, as the best value. And it's more than just the price. It's more
right.
than just the distance from the job site, which is the biggest driver in the cost.
Oh yeah,
but really,
absolutely. Yeah.
just like the best value. What's the more complete package and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I get that. We deal with that a bit, and we do a lot of land work, so claim staking. We stake mining claims and go out and send crews, and it's a low barrier to entry to get into it, but to do it right and accurately is very difficult. And so oftentimes, especially some of the larger companies, will compare us against the low-cost provider, and it's like, yeah, it may be cheaper now, but at the end of the day, when everything's all done, if there are any mistakes or things are done wrong or any of that, we're going to take care of it, and they're not going to. And so we've made a really conscious effort not to be the low-cost provider on most of our services. We try to be the value provider. So I get that, definitely.
Yeah, and if the market is at a certain price, I mean, the market determines the price.
Right.
And so if it's at, say $10 or something like that, just to use a number, and you can't get to that number, then you need to either go find a different market or get out of the market,
right.
or go do something. Maybe there's something you can do to your operations. That's how we feel. I mean, we're looking at the market price, trying to understand what our customers' options are, and then we're trying to make sure that we can come in below that, still make a good buck at the end of the day, and deliver on what they need at the market rate, that kind of thing. And then if there's a customer that thinks the market rate's below that, or that they can get it for cheaper, you got to be prepared to say, good luck to you. Call us for the next one. No hard feelings. I mean, there's no hard feelings. And then oftentimes, what happens is they're midway through or something like that, and it's, hey, we need to use you guys as a backup. We're getting some red flags here on something else from someone else, and so it kind of works itself back around.
Yeah, we've had that a few times where they go with the low cost provider, they mess up or they don't deliver what they really needed, and then we come in to back it up. We have 3 or 4 projects like that right now, where initially we lost it. We're like, oh, too bad, but we'll get it later, and then a month later, or sometimes even a few days later, they come back and they're like, never mind. And so, well, I appreciate any last minute thoughts or anything like that.
No, I'm looking forward to working with you guys as we try and grow too.
Cool.
I mean, we're 3 sites right now, looking to add some more. So
that's excellent. Yeah, happy to help. Sounds like our values align. That's always a good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, enjoy the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, what an action-packed few days here in Austin, Texas.
Yes,
You got
it
the
was.
state capitol right behind us, where they're doing construction, no doubt. And you know what they're using over there?
Construction aggregates.
They're using aggregates. So what was your favorite part of the show?
Well, besides lunch.
Besides lunch.
Besides lunch. No, I think my favorite part of the show was just learning about all the different technologies that the industry is using and can be utilizing. So listening to all the different companies that attended the show and how they are using technology to advance their products was really fascinating.
Yeah, I thought that was good. And my outlook for the industry going forward, Pierre Villery from Allen Villery Partners, had a really good presentation keynote on the first day, and he mentioned that a lot of the stock he puts in the economy, the U.S. economy, which drives construction, comes from consumer sentiment. And consumer sentiment's looking good, and other economic indicators are pointing up. And of course, this week we just got a 25 basis point cut for the Federal Reserve rate, which
That's
is
right.
really helpful. And so I think we'll see, the only soft part of the aggregate industry right now is residential construction, and I think that cut will help start to open the door to improvement in that segment. So
Right. But
yeah.
still lots of movement going on in the industrial space.
Yep, lots of movement going on, and then the technologies are really cool. So we got to hear about autonomous trucks and how those are being used. We got to hear about AI and how it's being implemented at companies like Inform and EveryPoint.
Yeah, pretty much across the board.
You got to be on a panel. I got to host a panel with AI.
That's right.
And actually had an AI participant in the panel, which I'm sure I'm not the first one to do it, but I'm definitely the first one to do it in the mining industry.
I'm sure,
So,
yeah.
That was really unique and novel. And the audience, I saw a lot of smiles out there. Usually I get a lot of sleepy faces, but I saw a lot of people paying attention and a lot of smiles. So that
It was interesting.
That
I've
was good.
never listened to a panelist that was not a human.
Yeah, and she did very well, Aggie the
did.
AI. So thanks for watching, and we will be back next week. Tune in, like and share, comment. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you'd like to see more of. Thanks for watching.
Pigeons, come talk to me.